Fusion, please. Oh, hey, we didn't see you there. We were just playing Splatoon
Oh.
2 for the Nintendo Switch. I hope
Hello.
you're happy to here to join us this morning. We're going to be looking at top 4, I believe, of bronze finals
Yes.
for LTC Splat. I hope y'all have been having a great weekend. My name's Splatoon Lily, and this is Fusion.
Hey.
Good morning, Fusion.
Good morning. I hope everyone has gotten their morning coffee energy, whatever it is you do in the morning. We're here with some great Splatoon action. The exciting conclusion to bronze bracket, which we saw towards the end of last night.
Yeah, things are looking really exciting last night. I know I myself wasn't here in the venue at that time. I was so exhausted from the whole day of everything going
Yeah.
on. We kind of went up to the room to chill for a little bit. We put on stream on our phones, so we were hanging out in chat with everyone else too. I don't know what about you? What did you get to?
Oh, I wonder. Yeah, I think I was casting around that
Oh,
time.
you were?
Yeah, due
Yeah.
to unfortunately. Okay, so unfortunately, Lily and I are both also competing in this LAN.
We are.
We're all also playing the video game, and we got top cut after this. So I hope you don't mind us practicing just a little bit before.
Just a little bit, like in between games, if you see us hiding our
Yeah,
switches.
if we
don't
go
tell,
quiet for a few minutes, just
yeah.
don't think anything about it. Just forget we're here.
And don't tell production. I
Yeah.
don't think they're supposed to know that we're here practicing and warming up for Top Cut. We're definitely going to have a great time. So, and we hope you will too. Just sliding it under the desk. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it looks like first up we're going to be seeing the Popcast enjoyers and the Hater Squad, which is really exciting. I hope some of y'all saw them yesterday. But on Popcast enjoyers, we have some really well-known names like JPEG of Low Ink fame and KO, who's just a fantastic person.
Oh, yeah.
I love them so much. Dio, who I've actually teamed with in the past as well. Dio was with me on Panic at the Grizzco,
Ooh.
which was the best team name I
You
think I've
you
ever
have
played with.
oh gosh, yes, you have the best team names.
Yeah.
Vitamin C, Tidal Wave, Panic at the Grizzco. It's
So
yeah.
it's my favorite.
But we saw some of the Hater Squad yesterday as well. I was casting a few matches of the Bronze Swiss section there.
For sure.
And, we saw Pincher especially on the T-Tech and T-Tech and Splash, I think,
Yeah.
for the most part. They were popping off. Huge slayer for the team. So we're going to be seeing some interesting gameplay going on here. I have Podcast Enjoyers was briefly on stream, but I feel like Hater Squad left a big impression on me. Also, well, I guess it's self-promotion. I mean, this is IPL anyhow, so
Yeah.
it's fine. Thank you, JPEG. Remember to play in low ink.
Well, if you're low ink eligible.
If you're low ink eligible, if you're not low ink eligible,
Yeah.
don't play in low ink. We're watching you.
I mean, this weekend, I told JPEG, like, technically I've never been banned from low ink because I've never been eligible for it.
Oh, yeah.
But because I've technically never been banned, that means I should be allowed to play. So I told JPEG that this is an issue, probably for him. So he, on the spot, pulled out a paper, a certificate, and signed it and banned us immediately. It was hilarious.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you. Thank you. It's been so many years in the coming. We've been having a great time, though.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing we should probably mention is that because we're in bronze finals, we're also into counter picks as well.
Yes. But I think before we get to any counter picks, we are about to be hopping right into our
Ooh.
first match of the day. Another best of 5 sets between Popcast Enjoyers and the Hater Squad. Clan Blitz on the Reef, same map we started the tournament with. And here we go. We got OBT not on the Dynamo this time,
Ooh.
the Flingza, and of course that double backline comp coming out from Popcast Enjoyers, which may be hard to work around, but we'll see how they can do it here on the Reef.
Yeah, I mean, there's some competition or some debate whether or not heavy actually counts as a backline weapon. It plays more like a midline if you're playing it, really smart, right? But definitely that E-leader is going to be a huge problem for, well, hopefully for Hater Squad. I love seeing KO play on the E-leader. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, E-leader can just hit you from across the range. If you have teammates that are able to stall long enough, can do a lot of work with those tens of missiles, doing a lot of work themselves as Hater Squad off to an early lead here, getting full control of bridge. 17 clams on the board. They're just trying to make a power, but it looks like before they're able to make a power, they get taken out by the respawning members of Popcast Enjoyers. And that's kind of that awkward situation where everyone has 6 or 7 clams and nobody wants to give it up because they want to make the power clam. But Thankfully, Popcast enjoyers quick on the run back in and are able to take advantage of that confusion.
Yeah, so far we're seeing just a little bit of a mid-fight, a little bit of a stall in neutral here, as one team is just trying to force a bit of an opening for them to allow them to get in. But I mean, both teams at this point have enough clams to be able to do something. I mean, 7 on Popcast enjoyers, you can turn that into 11 real quick. But it looks like it's going to keep going back and forth.
Dio coming around that right side, got a nice pick with that inkjet and then a second one. There were already 2 members down, so that's going to be a big stagger. But where are the clams? I don't see any clammers. Popcast enjoyers, okay, they finally scramble together and get a couple clams after some nice picks. Unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to continue this push because they're going to all have to back up into mid. Dio trying to make something happen here under the car, but looks like Popcast enjoyers is not going to be able to hold it open too much longer. They get the score down to 74, decent start, but it looks like Hater Squad is already on the offensive.
Yeah, this is an incredibly low-scoring match so far. Normally, this far into a match on Reef Clams, you see a little bit more on the playground. But at this point, it looks like things are just slowing down a little bit. A Hater Squad trying to get something moving a little bit, but it feels like the members of their front line are getting a little bit far ahead of their clam workers. We got about 18 on the board, and it looks like either they passed that ball off or someone passed away.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird, I feel like, what's going on. We saw Pincher being extra mobile and able to get away from picks. We saw that yesterday, too. Dio coming in with another inkjet, gets a nice pick, gets another one onto the Splatling. 2 down, 24 clams on the board for Popcast enjoyers. There's just one member of Hater Squad in the way. They're not going to be able to stop this push. And here come the clams, and here come the bubbles. These bubbles are going to be so important. Look at all those clams coming in from the safety of those bubbles. Look at this Dio staying alive the entire time. Dio's still at the bubble. Oh, dude, they go down, but not before they take the score all the way down to 28. Really great push, but holy cow, Hater Squad already moving up. But KO, that jump back in was huge. They jumped in and got the pick. That is so important.
KO's playing E-Leader here pretty similarly to how my teammate Shiny does. You set up those beacons in really good places for defense so that if you start getting pushed or things get starting to move a little bit too quickly, you can easily retreat and rotate back to those safe positions for that defensive position. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Righty. We've got Pincher trying to push over a bridge. The aggro with the power clam, a little bit obvious, makes it a lot harder. Makes it a lot harder to dodge these shots, and Dio ends up coming out on top of this. Yeah, when you have all these power clams, it's pretty hard to just not know, or pretty hard to, dip and dodge around them. Dio just being super strong on the offensive, trying to take out members by the car. They seem to not be able to get it. JPEG comes in with the assist. They have 8 clams. They're trying to stay alive behind them. This is a weird situation. What is the Heavy doing up here? And yeah, they get taken out. A power clam does come in, but with the other 2 members down. Yeah, there we go. X-Ray takes out one member, trying to hunt down the last one. And yeah, here we go. Hater Squad has some clams on the board. They've got missiles. They got 2 down on the other team. And they have a shot at making a big push here.
That was a fantastic push. They may not have gotten very many clams on the board, but they did get a really good stall going there for a while. They got a ball in, snuck things in, and delayed Hater Squad from making this push. Those massive bubbles coming in are going to be a huge help, and the lack of clam control on the side of Hater Squad.
Alrighty, X-Ray under the basket, dipping and dodging and dipping and dodging, tossing some clams into scores all the way down to 47. Huge push coming out for Hater Squad, and that's going to make this lead even closer. Score going all the way down to 35. Looks like one of the members is in the alley there. They try and get to the basket, but they're going to get taken out. That means the jump's not going to make it in time. OBT is hanging on to this power clam as they need it for the overtime, which is coming up right now. So it's do or die for them. They need to try and get a push. This E-Leader is extremely far up. Boshian's eyeing them up. They get KO. They get taken out in the process. It's a 2v3 situation. Pincher has 9 clams. They're going to try and find a way in, but this power clam needs to make it there. Pincher gets taken out, and Popcast Enjoyers is going to clean it up and seal away game 1.
That was an absolutely beautiful defense from Popcast Enjoyers. You know, they had a lot of pressure coming in, a push all the way to 35. They had to be sweating, but being able to maintain their cool, keep things solid and locked down, and then take all of the members of Hater Squad out before they managed to get that lead and before they managed to open the basket in overtime. Absolutely fantastic play. We love to see it. That is a 20 KA from Dio.
Goodness.
20.
Okay, so I've casted, 4 sets now?
Yeah.
And I think in 3 of them, someone's dropped a 20, in 3 of them, someone's dropped a 20 bomb. So
it's that land diff, I think.
It is that land diff. Sometimes the aggros just go off, you know?
Yeah. And we love to see it, right? Especially, I mean, on land, some people are really worried about their mechanics, right? It's weird how we were talking about earlier with my team that online you can control your environment, but you kind of can't really control like how the matches go, you know? And the gameplay online, you can't really control the lag or latency you're hitting. And when you're on stream on the LAN, right, you can control your latency. Obviously, there's none, but you can't control the environment you're in. So I wonder if we're starting to hit a little bit of stuff here too on stage. You know, players shouting at each other, distracting one another. I know that some teams use that as a bit of a strategy. I'm not. Don't tell.
I wonder who.
Don't tell everyone here, but I mean, in the meantime, it looks like we're gonna go into our second map mode, Rainmaker.
Yes. Rainmaker Humpback. I believe this is counter picks. So this would be a counter pick from Popcast Enjoyers. So Rainmaker, interesting pick for a double backline comp. Seems like something a more aggressive comp might favor, but I guess they're relying on that long range to be able to stall, as they have the Charger with the Stingray as well as the Remix, which are both incredibly good at defensive play. And here we go, the fight over the mid. JPEG taking a really aggressive position on that Splatling, trying to get some picks. An early grab, KO is going to try and defend the Rainmaker. The Rainmaker's going right, and multiple members of Popcast Enjoyers are over on the left. Is the Rainmaker going to be able to slip by? They are not. That is pretty big, because there was no one guarding that side.
It was a really fantastic play, too, and it looks like we've got a full wipe now on the side of Podcast Enjoyers. So we've already seen Hater Squad move right up on real quick over to this left-hand side, which is definitely a bit of a controversial pick for the first push of the game. Normally you take that right elbow, but I love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're banking on Popcast Popcast Enjoyers not going hard for a push, and that they might be able to hold this themselves. So if they were able to get up the wall, get to 30, that's a pretty dang solid push. But I think something I wanted to point out was that we've got the Kimmy, the Kensa Mini, the Hammer and Miss. Extremely good kit on Rainmaker for throwing Miss to that elbow. Rainmaker is so hard to get through Mist. And that Hammer, which probably would be good at any of the members. Yep, here we go, the Hammer. They're able to take out one. Try and get a push started. Look at E-Leader on the elbow. This is kind of what's awkward on Rainmaker. Yeah, look at that. The E-Leader doesn't even have a shot to take. They don't have the time. They're trying to move as far up as they can. OBT helping the Rainmaker push forward. They get a very nice pick. One member of Popcast Enjoyers is watching from overhead. OBT's going to grab, bring it down all the way to 10, all the way to 8. And Popcast Enjoyers is barely hanging on.
That was an absolutely brutal push. It looked for a moment there like Popcast Enjoyers and KO in particular had managed to stall it just long enough for their teammates to come back in and help them. But then again, the teammates of Hater Squad were just coming in so quickly, they didn't have a chance to get a foothold to stop it from going to 8. That was absolutely devastating. And that's going to be a long fight now for Popcast Enjoyers.
Oh, what have we got going on here? Looks like, okay. We got KO on the Rainmaker trying to push up, but it's just the Heavy and the Charger over there. Oh my god, JPEG and Dio trying to make things happen over on this right side. Unfortunately, JPEG goes down, but Dio's not done yet. Dio's going to try and shoot it down, but the Rainmaker drops into mid. Very smart. Not taking any chances with the Rainmaker being snuck around the corner. Boshin just rushing it to this corner here. Don't really care. Yeah, they don't care if they push it forward. They're just trying to get the Rainmaker out of the base. But hey, I mean, apparently they're a Rainmaker main, because this is going pretty well. They survived that sticky situation and just stalled long enough for the rest of their team to get back in and help them push.
Yeah, Boshin did a fantastic job there. Like, normally you're just trying to get it far enough away from your base that you're not risking the lead. So at this point, they're doing a fantastic job just getting it forward and then being able to try to get a push going as well. But it looks like Popcast Enjoyers is doing a pretty good job getting back into mid here, just barely avoiding that Hammer, only to get picked off at the very end of it. Unfortunate.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm surprised Dio dodged a couple of those little hits there. It looked like they were, they tipped his little toes. Here we go. Popcast Enjoyer is still stuck in the base. Hater Squad just swarming around mid. Look at all that paint. I mean, look at the paint of all of the weapons in their comp is just so solid. It's just a very kind of redundant comp. If one goes down, the other ones can take its place. Whereas Popcast Enjoyers, if you got like the E-Leader and one more, it kind of really limits what you can do on the offensive. Boshin, just look at this. Boshin staying alive with that Rainmaker, and that Rainmaker is just able to keep the Heavy and the E-Leader back.
And that's the problem when you get a Rainmaker into this elbow. Like, it's so easy to stall the Rainmaker right there. You have so much firepower. You can watch every angle of approach. It's really hard for people to approach you. You get some teammates in there to help you as well. It's just impossible. So the stall potential in that area is just so good. And we only have KO up left now against Hater Squad. So this is another potential for Hater Squad to get moving up and maybe knock this out.
Ooh, X-Ray was trying to go for a hammer play there. Unfortunately, gets a gun down before any of that happens. Yep. Okay, if you do attack the corner, that rail is the way to do it. The rail and the wall are both great options for approaching it. Finally, Popcast Enjoyers taking advantage of that to get the high ground, and it's going to stall this push a bit here.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job, but they only have 15 seconds left in the match. There's only so much time for them to be able to get this going.
Oh my gosh, here we got Pincher and trying to dodge some on the corner. Popcast Enjoyers needs to go for a pop here, but how are you going to contest a hammer? That's not going to happen. And yeah, here we go. Hater Squad is going to end up taking game 2.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job there holding that. They kept things going pretty consistently, and they had a really, really good hold. It was absolutely amazing. We loved it. I would love to see them. They obviously counter picks. The point of it is to be able to get your counter pick, get your map going, and win that map you picked, right? That's the whole point of counter picks. If you can't win the map you've chosen, you can't really rely on winning anything, and that's the danger. So here we had a Hater Squad do a fantastic job picking a strong counter pick for the enemy team and being able to pull it on through.
Absolutely. Wait, I'm sorry. Am I remembering wrong? Did Hater Squad won game 1? Am I correct?
Yeah, well, Hater Squad won game. No, they did not.
They did not.
No, Popcast Enjoyers won game 1. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
so that was a Hater Squad counter pick.
You're right. Okay, I got that part wrong at the start of the match.
You're
goodness.
Fine. It's early. It's
It
so
is early.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. I was so happy. And now I'm wondering what they're going to pull back, because the way this has gone, Popcast Enjoyers has won Clan Blitz Reef, which means, according to our counter pick rules, they can't go back to Clan Blitz and they can't go back to Reef. So they're going to have to pick something now to go back to that they're going to feel confident on. And it looks like they've gone with Spot Zone's Piranha Pit. That's, I mean, not a bad choice, especially for a paint-heavy comp like Popcast Enjoyers.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of already see the E-Leader and potentially the Heavy setting up on that left side, able to just eye down that entire middle of the map.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job.
Could be a really good position for them to hold. Obviously, less mobile or modes where the objective isn't moving favors those weapons that don't like to move very much.
Yeah, especially like KO's just going to have a great time hopefully setting up there. But I do wonder what they're going to play. Typically, Charger players don't like playing Charger on Piranha Pit. It's not usually the favorite. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing there. I wonder. It feels like that would be a pretty good map for E-Later, especially if they want to drop mines in the zone. That seems like a map that an E-Later could really just focus on staying alive the entire game and just farm those Rains and march them down the zones. Like, that middle area, Rain could take care of that in a jiffy. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love what I'm seeing. I did not expect this at all, but I love to see it anyways.
In what world do we see a double Explo?
I don't think this is the first time I've seen double Explo on this map. Maybe I saw like Explo Dynamo here at some point. I'm actually surprised OBT isn't on isn't on Dynamo. This is a very good map. I was playing Explo here yesterday. Yeah, very nice. Popcast Endurance off to a very strong start here with that double Explo. The Explos can just kind of chill on that ramp and slosh down at the zones. Oh my god, look at KO. Look at JPEG. They're just, oh my god. They're just eating Hater Squad alive over on the steps here. Hater Squad is like, yeah, I think I'll go the other direction at this point.
I mean, how do you even fight back against that? Like, one Explo is hard enough, especially on this map with all of the hills, the weight of slosher and things. I know you yourself play Explo, so it's just, it's massively difficult to fight against especially when they have an offensive angle against you. So to be able to do it against two, I can't even imagine the pressure they're under.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the key is really, when they've got the double Explo, you've got to dislodge them somehow. They only use their main weapon. They have two ballers. So it's really important to use like those missiles. They actually have double missile on the comp and bomb rush, so that feels like something that they would be able to do to use to get them out of there. OBT coming in with a nice pick. The zone is barely getting neutralized. They're trying to rush in at these explos. They are going to be able to cap the zone. Hater Squad barely taking that zone back, but a very nice push back in.
I'm honestly surprised they managed to be able to get that last minute. They did a fantastic job being able to pull things together, not melt down too hard against this double explode comp, and to be able to get that cap in. Now, the challenge now is, can they hold it?
Oh my god. So, man, when Explo came out, dude, this was back when I was on Elementor. There was a teammate of mine who just played, like, I think Explo a ton in solo. You can just sit on the steps and slosh at that zone with Explo and keep it neutral. So, really, this seems like a place where the Explos can go steps, and what other options does Hater Squad really have for dealing with it? If they are just careful of the members sharking there, they can neutralize the zone for as long as they need to push back in. Interestingly, both Explos going to the right, or the left side this time. Here we go. Dio trying to make something happen on that offensive. They're in an awkward spot. They do get a very nice kill. I thought those missiles were going to spell the end of them right there, but they are able to survive. Very nice. Look at Hater Squad. They're swarming around. X-Ray and OBT staying alive. The timer's counting down. There's no more shot left for Popcast Enjoy as they try to neutralize the zone at the last possible instance, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hold this. No, they're not. Goodness. Hater Squad hanging on to that game and defeating the double Explo.
It feels like they took a chance there, right? Because that's the challenge, right? If they get in and they are managing to hold an offensive position, they're incredibly hard to dislodge. But if they get pushed out, they don't have a ton of options for being able to push back into that zone unless they have, things like bubble to be able to push it. But it feels like they took a big chance there on whether or not they were going to be able to hold that position as far into the game as they wanted to. And I mean, they almost had it, to their credit. They pushed all the way down to 4. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, Explo is definitely one of those weapons that people love Explo or Custom Explo's main weapon, but it doesn't really have a special.
Yeah.
Or it has Baller, and when you run 2 of that weapon, they can be prone to getting locked out if you play like smartly around the main weapon.
For sure.
So props to Hater Squad for doing that. They stayed alive against those Explos. They didn't trickle into them, and that gave them that game.
Yeah, I think they did as good as they could have. I would have loved to see some bubbles coming out, though. I feel like that would have given them the angle they needed to be able to push back in. But, I mean, we're going to have to see what we see next, right? So, I mean, because they have Lost on Zones and Piranha Pit, they are able to pick either that map or that mode again. They do have another counter pick. Everything, I believe, is a best of 5. So we're going to have to wait and see what they choose. And it looks like we're going back to zones, but this time on Inkblot Art Academy. Do you think we'll see that double Explo again?
Oh, gosh. I don't think we'll see that double Explo again.
No.
This map's a tiny bit smaller. God, yeah. I mean, it's like when people pull out, like, E-liter ballpoints or something
for sure.
on like Triggerfish or Albacore.
Albacore.
Yeah. There's a big difference in size here, and I think like while this can be a great map for either E-liter or Heavy, I don't know if it's a great map for both of them together.
Yeah.
So maybe JPEG will be on that mini. We saw JPEG on the mini a bit yesterday, and I think potentially that paint and burst bomb and missiles could be what the comp's looking for.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see that mini coming back out, and KO back on the E-liter. This is a very strong map for E-liter. You get that E-liter up on that top box and mid, and they just can absolutely demolish the opponents. There is no place that is safe to drop down onto from your plat, and it makes pushing back into zones so incredibly difficult.
Oh yeah, I'm more than familiar with someone who snipes me repeatedly from top mid. Here we go. Popcast Enjoyer is off to a strong start here. Interestingly, it seemed like one of the members of Hater Squad dropped in a little bit where they didn't mean to and jumped out. So Hater Squad kind of giving up this first push here. Gosh, trades going off. Both sides back in the middle here. Popcast Enjoyers and Hater Squad still fighting for the zone as it seems to go back to neutral.
Hater Squad even struggling to paint that zone, even against just 2 members of Podcast Enjoyers. They're doing a fantastic job keeping their paint active and keeping their comms hopefully active as well, to be able to call out exactly where Hater Squad is and exactly where they need to defend from. They're doing an absolutely amazing job holding this offensive.
Yeah, we saw JPEG eyeing up that left side. Look at where Hater Squad's dropping. Oh my god, this flank is going to be huge though. Oh my gosh, yes, yet again, JPEG aware of it. I was about to say, JPEG was keeping an eye on that choke point, the ramp, the unpaintable over on that left where Hater Squad seemed to be pushing in from. Yeah, where Hater Squad seemed to be pushing in from, and that stopped them from like losing the zone in this situation here. But now on the other side, it looks like Popcast Enjoyer is struggling to find a way back in, or we're not struggling, rather. They do manage to find a way back in after briefly being locked out here, not showing any difficulty in getting back in. The rain and stuff just came in. They just kind of like waltzed in with their specials. They didn't even kill the entire team.
Yeah, it looked like Hater Squad was just giving them a lot of space and a lot of respect. Like even the Delta on the junior there, just throwing some bombs and painting up towards one of the opponents, just made them back all the way up into a corner and jump out. They were not willing to risk that engagement. And I think that's the difference here, is Popcast Enjoyers is blatantly disrespecting the space of Hater Squad, and Hater Squad is playing it a little bit more safe.
Yeah, but now as we say that, Hater Squad going aggressive here. Pinchers up on the plat, trying to shark right below Dio. They're going to back out in time as I think, yeah, those missiles came out. I think they scared him out a little bit, but the bomb rush is going to come in after the initial special from Popcast Enjoyers, and that's going to make it really awkward. They were about to push in, but those bombs stalled it and just made it really awkward. The timer's counting down all the way to 35. These missiles are going to take out Delta. There's 2 members down on Popcast Enjoyers. Hater Squad's going to take the lead here. This mini v mini battle going on the ramp here. X-Ray's going to come out on top and get a second one as well. The timer's ticking down. The E-Leader is going to be chased back. They're going to flee, and there's going to be no one to take this game away from Hater Squad.
That pick was absolutely massive. That double on ramp there. I mean, the stealth jump had been seen, so JPEG had to stay and protect it, had no choice. But in doing so, unfortunately, couldn't quite maintain that whole fight, right? Had to go down, and the teammate got picked off as well, which is really unfortunate timing because they really only had one chance left to be able to push back in, and unfortunately lost it.
Yeah, I mean, and gosh, some of the it's yeah,